Geopolitics with Shukuru, we're the future.
Hello everybody, this is Geopolitics. I'm taking you to Guizhou province in China, where we are going to see the bridge, which is expected to be the highest in the world, and it's amazing what they are doing. Chinese are doing wonders, things that are unbelievable, because we don't expect such technology. I'm going to show you the video. It's very remarkable, and it's very good to watch. You're going to like it. Yeah, hear the video.
Is the Huajang Grand Canyon Bridge. It's not just another bridge. Suspended 625 meters, over 2,050 feet, above a remote river in Guizhou province in southwest China, it now holds the title of the tallest bridge ever built. That's not an exaggeration. It's taller than 2 Eiffel Towers stacked on top of each other. Taller than the Empire State Building, with room to spare. From the canyon floor to the bridge deck, nothing else in the world reaches this height. And if you dropped a stone from the edge, it would fall for nearly 20 seconds before hitting the river below. But this kind of scale is not new for China. Over the past 2 decades, the country has taken on some of the most ambitious infrastructure projects in the world. From the Beipanjiang Bridge, currently the highest in terms of vertical clearance at 565 meters, which connects remote provinces high above valleys, to the Hong Kong-Zhuhai-Macau Bridge, the longest sea crossing in the world, links 3 major cities with a network of bridges and undersea tunnels. And the country continues to expand its high-speed rail network, which now spans over 40,000 kilometers, more than the rest of the world combined. China's strategy has been clear. Don't go around obstacles, build across them. The Huajang Grand Canyon Bridge fits right into this picture. It's one more example of how China is building infrastructure in places where many other countries would hesitate. But how do you build something like this? Why here, of all places? And what's the point of building a bridge this tall, this far from any major city? Let's take a closer look at what may be the most ambitious bridge project on the planet, and why China is building it in one of its most difficult provinces. To understand the Huajang Bridge, you have to understand the place it's being built. Guizhou is one of the most mountainous regions in China. Its landscape is full of steep cliffs, narrow valleys, and deep canyons, which makes building infrastructure a real challenge. The region has long suffered from poor connectivity. While other parts of China were expanding with expressways and high-speed trains, many towns in Guizhou remained isolated, cut off by geography. For years, people traveling between towns on either side of this gorge had to take a long detour, more than 50 kilometers on narrow, winding mountain roads, many of them only 1 lane wide. The route could take over an hour on a clear day. Add in fog, rain, or landslides, and it became dangerous and sometimes impossible. As recently as the early 2000s, large sections of the province were still classified as transport blind zones. This bridge is the clearest sign yet that those days are ending. It was not just inconvenient, it was holding back the region's development. Jobs, healthcare, education, all became harder to access simply because of geography. That's where the bridge comes in. China's central government, after decades of improving infrastructure in other parts of the country, made a decision to bring that same connectivity to Guizhou. The idea was simple: reduce travel times, connect remote communities, and improve logistics in the southwest. But the solution was not simple at all. The terrain didn't leave many options. Rather than building more roads around the problem, engineers decided to build directly over it. This is not a new idea globally. In France, the Millau Viaduct was built to bypass a slow section of road in the Tarn Valley. Norway connects distant communities with bridges and tunnels across mountains and fjords. Japan and Switzerland have tunneled through entire mountain ranges to improve access. But few countries have taken on something quite like this. The Huajang Grand Canyon Bridge is part of the Lujianlong Expressway, a highway designed to cut down travel across Guizhou. The expressway includes multiple bridges, but Huajang stands out, not just for its scale, but for its height. Construction began in early 2022. Within the first year, the foundations and access roads were in place, And by 2023, the two main towers were already rising from both sides of the canyon. As of now, final deck installation and finishing work are underway, with the bridge scheduled to open in June 2025. The total length of the bridge is about 2,890 meters, roughly 1.8 miles. The central span alone, between the two towers, stretches 1,420 meters. That's longer than the main span of the Golden Gate Bridge. And then there's the height, 625 meters from the deck to the canyon floor. That's what makes it the tallest bridge in the world. To put that into perspective, it's taller than the Sidu River Bridge in Hubei province of China, which previously held the record at 496 meters. Taller than the Royal Gorge Bridge in Colorado, standing at 291 meters. And far taller than the Millau Viaduct, which stands at 270 meters above the Tarn River. Huajang surpasses them all by a wide margin. But it's not just about numbers. This kind of vertical clearance creates serious engineering challenges. Most bridges don't span canyons this deep. Huajang had no support from below. It had to be built across an enormous open space in a remote, mountainous environment and at a height where strong wind, rain, and seismic activity are constant concerns. One of the first problems engineers faced was getting materials to the site. There were no roads capable of handling the heavy steel segments or large equipment. So they had to build temporary access roads into the mountains, roads that were often just barely wide enough for trucks. In areas where vehicles couldn't go, helicopters and pulley systems were used to lift equipment into place. Much of the bridge was assembled using massive cable cranes stretched across the canyon. Weather slowed down work more than once. Guizhou is known for fog and heavy rain, and in winter, ice forms on steel surfaces. This made construction more dangerous. Working hundreds of meters in the air in wet or icy conditions required safety planning on a completely different level. Every step of construction involved sensors, drones, GPS-guided tools, and real-time monitoring. The bridge towers are made of reinforced concrete and steel alloy, anchored deep into the canyon walls. The western tower stands at approximately 262 meters, while the eastern tower reaches about 205 meters. That makes both towers taller than most skyscrapers. For context, either tower on its own would rank among the tallest bridge structures in the world. The bridge deck itself is aerodynamic, designed to reduce the effect of high-altitude winds. Structural health monitoring systems are built into the design, tracking everything from vibration to cable tension and even the temperature of the road surface. Despite all this, the bridge has been progressing without major delays. And now, construction is entering its final stages. The project required more than 40,000 tons of steel and approximately 300,000 cubic meters of concrete. At its peak, over 1,200 workers were involved on site, many of them brought in from other national bridge projects. But height is not the bridge's only record. Its main span of 1,420 meters makes it one of the top 5 longest cable-stayed spans in the world. Only a few other bridges, such as the Ruski Bridge in Russia and the Çanakkale Bridge in Turkey, have spans in the same range. Its location, crossing one of the deepest canyons in China, also gives it another distinction. It's one of the very few super high bridges in the world that actually crosses a natural landform of this scale. China now holds more than half of the world's tallest bridges. Out of the top 100 highest bridges by structural height, over 80 are in China. That's no accident. The country has invested heavily in building transport networks, even in regions where geography makes it extremely difficult. Huajang is just the latest and boldest example. While some large-scale bridges like the Çanakkale project in Turkey took more than 5 years to complete, Huajang is on track to finish in just over 3. For a structure of this height and complexity, that's unusually fast. Although the bridge has not opened yet, its impact can already be predicted. A trip that once took over an hour will now take about 1 minute. That's not an exaggeration. For people living in nearby towns, that means faster access to work, to school, to hospitals, and to markets. Transport companies will save time and fuel. Local governments expect that logistics will improve and tourism will grow. Some visitors are already showing interest in seeing the tallest bridge in the world once it's open to the public. It's expected that viewing areas, rest stops, and even hotels will be developed nearby. Local farmers and suppliers will have faster access to regional hubs, meaning less spoilage, more consistent deliveries, and better prices. But not all of this is guaranteed. These benefits are projections, based on models and early forecasts. The true impact will take time to measure. Years, in fact. The exact budget for the Huajang Bridge hasn't been fully released, but estimates put it at several billion yuan, likely in the range of $300 million. For context, France's Millau Viaduct cost about $424 million in early 2000s money. Turkey's 1915 Çanakkale Bridge cost over $2.5 billion. In that sense, Huajiang's price tag sits somewhere in the middle, but its impact on the local region is arguably greater. However, maintenance will be much challenging. At this height, regular inspections can't be done with just ladders and binoculars. Drones, climbing crews, and advanced monitoring systems will all be necessary, permanently. Still, the Huajiang Bridge fits into a much larger global trend. Around the world, countries are facing growing infrastructure needs and limited easy space to build. Norway is connecting islands through underwater tunnels. Japan built high-speed trains through earthquake zones. Switzerland has drilled through the Alps. And China is continuing to push into remote and mountainous regions by building structures like this one. The Huajang Grand Canyon Bridge shows that elevation is no longer a reason to stop. If the terrain is difficult, the solution now is to go over it. For better or worse, the Huajang Grand Canyon Bridge is now part of China's story. Another signal to the world of what the country is willing to do to connect its territory, no matter the terrain. And soon, the world will find out whether that gamble pays off. Now, over to you. Would you feel comfortable driving across a bridge that's higher than any other on Earth? Do you think projects like this are the future of infrastructure? Or are they simply too risky and expensive? Let us know in the comments below. And as always, thanks for watching.